Hi everybody, Craig here. Welcome back to the Battle for Wesnoth campaign, Descent into Darkness. In our last episode, we completed round 3 of Scenario 12, and this time around we had to fight a foolish hero of the Dwarven variety, and that posed a few unique challenges, although really, especially since for some reason the Dwarven commander decided to use a lot of Griffin riders who really are not suited to fighting underground. Things actually went reasonably well for us, and we were able to win the day. So we are going to jump into round 4 of Scenario 12, but before we do that, I did just want to give a couple of quick shoutouts to a few individuals who left some excellent comments on the previous episode. The first of those comments is from Tuxalons. Now, Tuxalons pointed out that, and this is something we've kind of already established and figured out, but I'm glad that this point was brought up. This scenario will kind of repeat endlessly with a gradually increasing level of difficulty in the form of the enemy commander having more resources each time this scenario repeats. And that's what Tuxalons is pointing out. And really the only way to sort of end the cycle of repeating rounds of this is to either have Mal Keshar himself die, or to have the enemy stumble upon this particular book. And this is the book that led both Darken Volk and Mal Keshar himself down the road of necromancy. And in sort of perpetuating the book into the hands of another person, it's sort of going to keep I guess you would say, keep the knowledge of necromancy alive and keep it going on to sort of the next generation. And so either one of those choices is a way to sort of end the cycle. And really, I'm still not 100% sure, but I think perhaps in this upcoming round, I may just kind of group my units up in this little cave here and let the enemy come down and take the book, just to kind of see what happens. The next comment here is from Snarky Malarkey. Snarky pointed out, or I guess was asking, to have this bone shooter named Deadeye, and I think that's a great name, both because obviously it's an undead unit, and also as an archer, that sort of makes sense. So that's a great name. I will do that when we proceed onwards here into the next round. So without any further ado, and a big thank you to everybody for the excellent comments, we are going to jump forward into the next round. The book still sits on a dusty shelf in Mal Keshar's keep, untended and untouched, but constantly plaguing his mind. If he allowed a foolish hero to take a copy of the book, would others eventually follow in his footsteps? Would the author's plan actually work, or would people continue to view necromancy as only a corrupting power? One voice tells him that being accepted by society should not be of any concern to him. Another says that it would not hurt to try. He does not come to any conclusions, but a slightly embellished copy of the tome sits there in his lair, waiting to be taken. Endless Night. Is there an endless supply of foolish heroes with death wishes? Honestly, where do you all come from? We have finally found you, Lich. Long have we heard of your abominable deeds, ensnaring the living with your dark sorceries and molding them into your slaves. Your wretched unlife ends here. Life or death, it is all the same. There are always those who try to kill me. Ever do they fail. All right, well, here we are, Endless Night, round 4. Our victory condition is to defeat yet another foolish hero, but of course our alternative objective is to allow an enemy unit to take the book, or the destruction of Mal Keshar. We're going to have that standard 40% of gold carrying forward to the next scenario, and as always, no turn limit here. So it looks like this time around we are up against an Elven hero. Again, the good news there is that the Elves tend to not do as well in the caves, and they also, as neutral units, don't benefit or suffer a penalty when they're underground, so in terms of the day-night cycle. They also, I guess, generally have a lot of blade and pierce damage, which our skeletons are pretty resistant to, so that's the kind of units we will definitely recruit. But as I mentioned, I actually think at this point I'm going to let them come and take this book. I'm really curious to see what's going to happen. So I think I will probably not pursue a standard victory of going for the kill. Instead, I'm going to let them come down and take the book and see what happens. So what we're going to do here, we will still recall our units just in case. So we'll bring back all of our best units here. We will bring back our Bone Shooter. And of course, we will rename him Deadeye. And then let's see, is there anybody else we really want to recall? Honestly, not really. There isn't enough experience gained for any of these units to really make it worth our while. So instead, what I'm going to do is just start recruiting skeletons. Oops. Like I said, recruiting, not recalling. Grab a couple of those. We'll grab a couple more skeleton archers. Thankfully, we had a pretty darn good gold supply after that last battle, so we are in reasonable shape there. We'll grab one ghost. And we'll leave Mal here for one more turn, just so that he's able to... Just so that he is able to recruit a few more troops next turn. Meanwhile, Xanthric, we can try and grab a village or something, but honestly, we'll probably just bring Xanthric back down. We'll end it there. I forgot to check how much gold income my new opponent has. Let's take a look. I think it was under... No, it's not statistics. We want status table. Ooh, yeah, so base income here. We go to scenario settings. So he starts off with 500 gold, and his base income is 37. Wow. So yeah, each time it just goes up and up. Each round of this, my opponent has more and more gold income, which makes it that much more difficult to deal with them. So like I said, we're going to just retreat back. We're going to turtle up in this cave and let them just come right to us. I see no reason to... And we can even send some units over here to turtle up as well. We will still recruit, like I said, more units just in case. But realistically, I don't think we are going to do a whole lot of fighting here. So we will just move our units. We will maybe send our ghosts up just to kind of do a bit of harassing. But otherwise, I think, like I said, we'll just kind of group up here, maybe down here, sort of wherever we need to go. There is a natural sort of bottleneck in that area, which is good for us. So yeah, just more skeletons. Why not? You know what? We'll grab one more. Perfect. Okay, and now Mal himself can join the party. It's kind of an interesting idea that the tome itself can sort of act as a conduit of the proclivity towards necromancy, and perhaps, as sort of was alluded to in some of the dialogue there with each round, that it only takes it sort of falling into the hands of the right or wrong person, I guess, depending on your perspective, to see whether or not sort of the ideas might perpetuate themselves and whether or not it might become more sort of socially acceptable, as it were. So, again, this is all sort of just for show, I guess you would say, but I did want to still have units just in case for some reason something goes wrong and they're not quite able to pick up the book. Although I guess alternatively, if Mal dies, it's still technically considered a victory, so... I never noticed this little 3 up here. I'm not sure what that refers to. Oh, never mind. That was just how many villages... That was how many villages this... my opponent has, I think. Oh, never mind. Turn number. Oh, that was showing... Okay, my bad. That was me getting really confused. That was just showing which side was moving and what turn it's on. I just noticed that the icon for the elf is not a little flag. It's sort of a different symbol, which confused me for a second there. There is a monolith in there, which is kind of interesting. So Mal himself can probably sit on the entrance. Xanthric we'll probably put down here. We could turtle up in the castle as well, actually, now that I think about that. It's not the worst idea ever. Or maybe down here in this corner. Yeah, I like that. That's a good spot. So we will send some units over that way. Meanwhile, the rest can follow Mal in there. So we'll end it. I am kind of excited to see what happens when they get to the book. Oh, wow, look at this. He's recruiting woes as well. Yeah, see, for a second I thought that was a little symbol of a book, which is why I got confused. I was like, oh, is that some marker of the tome itself or something like that? But no. Mal's kind of in the way, so we'll just have to walk past him here. There we go. And then Xanthric can go along with the rest of these units down this way to hang out in this bottom corner. All right, we will end it there. Oh, I keep forgetting about my ghosts up there. Whoops. Oh, well, not like it really matters. Although this ghost is now kind of in striking distance, so we might want to retreat. Yeah, we'll head down there. Try and get ourselves kind of out of harm's way a little bit. So like I said, these units are going to just hang out in this bottom corner. Meanwhile, we are going to try to funnel the rest of this group in here. There we go. And my ghost getting attacked. Unfortunately, didn't get any life back, which is too bad. We'll go into the water where we're a little safer then. Yeah, holy cow. Look at the number of units we'd be up against. Those woes are dangerous because not only do they have impact-based damage, but they also regenerate health, which makes them quite a formidable adversary. Especially since I'm predominantly relying on my skeletons. So, that's a pretty nasty setup there. So again, we're just kind of turtling up, letting them come to us, and hopefully someone stumbles upon that pesky book. Nice, getting a little bit of life back. There we go. Now, I don't know if an enemy unit is going to purposefully step on the book, or if we have to sort of guide them into it a little bit. I guess we'll find out. But like I said, I'm going to wait. I'm not going to attack yet. Like I said, our skeletons are just going to hold the line here. Our ghost, meanwhile, perhaps not in the best shape. But we can go for some drain to get some health back. I mean, if our ghost dies, it doesn't really matter. That was just sort of a kind of a throwaway thing. Oh, there goes my ghost. R.I.P. So, I'm thinking what's probably going to happen here is they're just going to group up and someone is going to accidentally or sort of just by happenstance land on the book. That's my hope anyway. I guess we'll see. we'll just end it there. Obviously, our financial situation is not ideal, given that we are now running a substantial deficit as all of our villages are getting captured. Clearly, if we were going to try to win this via, legitimate fighting, this would not be the approach to take. All right, somebody. Land on that book. That's all we need. You're right next to it. Now, I wonder if we were to step out there and maybe try to lure somebody in a little bit. As in, go right next to it and maybe someone will... You know what? Let's try that. We will push out just a little bit. See if maybe we can goad them into doing it. Right, so I think we'll just keep ending our turn. Let's see if they get a little bold here. Okay, going after Xanthic, that's fine. Our poor ghost is getting beat up pretty good. Thankfully, Drain is kind of keeping him alive. Barely, but still alive. There it is. That's an evil grimoire. It must be connected to the Lich's power. Perhaps if we burn it with fairy fire, the Lich will be destroyed. Oh, I missed that last little line, but that's okay. The foolish hero was tricked, and left believing both that the book could be destroyed, and that the Lich might be weakened by doing so. Retreating outside the cave, the foolish hero tried to destroy the book. None of the attempts left so much as a single dent or char, yet each one caused another scream to echo from the cave mouth. Eventually, the cave entrance collapsed, and everything was still. Satisfied, the foolish hero left the ruined lair behind, books stowed away safely and secretly in his pack. Years pass. Every summer, by the time the mountainous paths and high passes shed their wintry gowns of snow, humans, elves, and dwarves patrol to resist orcish raiders. Undead no longer trouble the watches, and memories of the Lich fade to mere legend. Rumors circulate about a spirit of good fortune that protects these guards. It is said that when attacked by orcs at night, the darkness itself descends to repel the assailants. The end. Descent into Darkness. Well, there you have it. That's kind of an interesting way of it's almost like spreading kind of like a disease or like a mind virus, right? Where it spreads sort of by this corrupting influence with the book. I like that. That's kind of an apt ending. And obviously a person could keep going as far as they could, with each round. And I thought about doing it, but I thought it was kind of fun just to see what would happen if they do pick up the book. So I really enjoyed this campaign. I had a real blast. I quite enjoyed the sort of the unique level up mechanics for some of the characters, like for Mal and for Xanthic. It was also very fun to get to play as the undead, which of course anyone who's watched my Age of Wonders series knows I love playing as a necromancer, so it was definitely fun to do that as well. And the campaign also featured a lot of interesting characters, although Mal, back when he was Malin, was tough to be kind of likable, given that he often sort of played the victim, but it was still kind of a neat experience to get to sort of see his, descent into darkness as he went down the path. So overall, I had a real blast with this one. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.